This dish is my version of an absolute Aussie classic, the scone. I'm just gonna jazz it up with a couple of ingredients that I like, bit of sweet potato, bit of cheese, some chives, just take your scones to the next level. So the first thing we've got is 2 cups of wholemeal flour and half a cup of plain flour. I've then got a tablespoon of baking powder. It's gonna help our scones be sort of a little bit light and fluffy. And then I've got 50 grams of cold butter. Now, what I'm gonna do is sort of break it up through the flour. I wanna get sort of almost like little breadcrumbs through here. And this is gonna add little layers of flavour into our scones. And from this, you can add all kinds of things, different cheeses, different vegetables. You can add different herbs. You can go sweet, you can go savoury. Scones are something, if you like cooking for people, you have to have a scone recipe up your sleeve because it's a quick and easy one for everyone. So, just gonna work it, just till we've got almost like breadcrumby consistency and our butter's broken up into our scones. So the next thing we need to do is add the rest of our dry or dry-ish ingredients. So I've got some cheddar cheese here, just some vintage cheddar. It's a 200-gram block. I'm gonna grate about half a block and go with about 100 grams. I like to add a drier cheese into my scones. So Parmesan would work really well. Manchego, one of those cheeses, a bit dry is good. Also blue cheese goes quite well in scones. Though your fresher and wetter cheeses, I don't think go as well personally. Now, this is looking a bit better. For me, making scones, it has to be messy. I'm gonna have flour all over me soon, but I'm fine with that. A bunch of chives, I'm just gonna go half a bunch of chives. Just quickly chop these. Nice herby notes, that sort of oniony, chivey flavour. Now I've got some frozen sweet potato, just let warm up to room temperature. You can quickly cook in the microwave. Gonna go 250 grams of that, half a packet. And at this stage, we're just gonna slowly fold everything through with a little pinch of salt. Not too much salt because we've got the cheese in there. This is the base for our scone recipe. Now we're gonna add our liquid in. So I've got probably half a cup of milk, maybe a little bit more if we need it. I'm gonna kind of eye this one. Because we're adding a little bit of moisture to that sweet potato, I don't wanna go too wet. So I'm gonna go what I think is about half a cup, and then I'm gonna start mixing it together in here till it all starts coming together. I think all good scone recipes, you don't wanna work them too much. A little bit more. You just wanna bring them all together nicely. Definitely don't wanna work them too much. We're gonna need to go a little bit more of our milk. We might end up going the whole cup. There we go, now we've got a nice dough happening. Our scone doughs come together nicely into sort of a nice big piece. It's sticky without sort of, when I touch it, stuff staying on my skin. So that's about right for me with my scone. Now I'm just gonna flour my board. And this is the bit where we have a bit of fun with the rolling pin. So we're gonna roll this out to a nice even thickness. I also like to make my scones square and not round. I don't use a cookie cutter, so what I do is I just roll it out to a nice square and just sort of tap the sides as I go to try and get a nice square, so then when I cut them out, they're gonna be really easy to cut out. But this dough's looking really nice to me. As you can see here, you got little, dust off a bit of flour, flecks of the cheese and the sweet potato and the chives in there. So just a really interesting scone, but again, quick and easy to do. To be honest, for me that's done. I don't want to overwork my scones, I want them to be nice and light. So if you overwork them, they get too heavy. And then, as I said, I cut mine into rectangles. If you did like round scones, by all means, use a cookie cutter to cut them out, but I just like the square shape I get from them. And then straight into a lined baking tray, just a little bit of room in between each one. And there we go. Super easy dish. It's the kind of thing, your friends coming over, you want to do like a nice afternoon tea. I think scones is a great, very Aussie thing to do. Last thing, Jo, who is the one who makes us look good on this show, she does all the food prep for us. She always puts a little bit of milk on the top of her scones so you get a nice golden top. So I'm going to use Jo's tip, so thank you for that, Jo. And thank you for prepping everything for us so beautifully every day. Got to give her a shout out. Then, 180 degree oven for about 12 minutes till they're nice and golden on top and cooked through in the middle. And there you have it, guys. Have a look at those beauties. Absolutely stunning, nice golden tops. What I love about this scone is you can see the little flecks of orange and green, little bits of cheese in there. I'm gonna plate these up a bit differently. You know, usually it's scones with jam and cream. We're gonna go savoury. We're gonna go scones with smoked salmon and cream cheese. I'm gonna plate these up on a nice platter, pile them up, And then get your smoked salmon, and then I kind of want to lay it on the plate so you've got nice pieces of our smoked salmon. And this, again, if you didn't like smoked salmon, like we always say, choose your own adventure. You could add more cheddar cheese, it'd go really nicely as well. But I think scones with salmon and cream cheese sound pretty good to me. So pile your salmon up at one spot. Beautiful. And then just a nice spoon of our cream cheese. Just in the corner, and then you chuck some chives on there too, just to make it look pretty and add that little nice warm oniony flavour that chives have. It's a pretty simple dish really, but I think it's just, you know, a fancified version of that Aussie classic, the scone. 15 minutes in the oven, 10 minutes to cook. It's a 25-minute kitchen classic that if you serve this to your family, it'll be going, scone,